Well, I woke up Sunday morning with no way to hold my head that didn't hurt. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad. Had another for dessert. I fumbled through my closet for my clothes and found my cleanest dirty shirt.
And we are on.
Then I washed my
Gregory
face and
Cruz,
combed my
you're
hair.
the one and only Gregory Cruz. You have been. I should have done some research, but we put this together really quick. I forget the name of that street. What's your shirt say?
Oh, this is the Venice Street Legends. I was with the Muddy Bottom Blues Boys in '89 till '94, LaBouche till '99, and then from 2002 to present, the Venice Street Legends.
Now you're still with them, right? Is that your band?
That's basically me with a bass player and a drummer. Yes. I had a bass player that everybody knows, a Venice local, by the name of Petr Hromadko from Czech Republic, and he was with me for the longest time with the Venice Street Legends.
And now that's a very aptly named band because you are a Venice Street legend. You are incarnate, I think.
Well, now that we're all legends because of the attention Venice is getting, especially nowadays, as you are a legendary for your artwork there, because we were all there before because of the love of Venice. You know, that's why we were there, not for the attention.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to get into that in a second, but I want to backtrack. I want to try to get the people out there to learn more about you. And can you kind of give us your background, where you came from, your influences, and then how you, I don't know if you've always lived in Venice or where you came from what was your story to get to where you're at now?
Okay. So, no, I'm born and raised in San Bernardino, joined the Navy at 20 years old. I lived in Florida, Chicago, and Alabama for a few years till I made it back into home to San Bernardino around 82, and finally got a job, and I've been playing music all this time before that. I finally got a job at the post office. I suffered a near fatal motorcycle accident in '86, and so I could not go back to the post office, and I was stuck with nowhere to go. Where to go? I drove in my car November of '89, and I ended up on Windward Boulevard, just feet away from Oceanfront Walk, and I fell asleep there, not knowing what I was going to do. I was a disabled veteran. All I had was my acoustic guitar in the trunk. When I saw a gentleman by the name of James Mitchell Jr., a local then at the time playing the streets, who was from New Orleans, carrying a guitar, and immediately all my past was just wiped away, because here was I wanted to do was play music. I got my guitar and asked him if he wanted to jam. It was a weekend. I'll never forget that. He made quite a bit of money. He says, "I can't pay you because this is how I make my money." I didn't care. I said, "I'll keep playing, buddy." You know, he says, "Well, come by tomorrow and then we'll play." And once again, it was a Sunday. He did buku tips. But he said, once again, "I can't pay you, but Monday, if you come with a battery amp and electric guitar, we'll start splitting everything down the middle." That was history back then. I started playing almost every day. Disabled veteran, all I could muscle out was 7 lead notes because I hadn't been played in a while. But that was my road to healing on Venice Beach, which I believe heals many who end up there for some reason. I was just blessed to make it there by luck. And it gave me a way to make my meal. You know, I would play all day and I make $6, but I could buy my meal at the local restaurant there. So many great places to eat for cheap there. Yummy's by the corridor, all there on the south side of Venice. So that's how I ended up there. And many different incarnations of the band. It started as a blues band. then a blues rock band. And then I hooked up with a gentleman from Kentucky who played country music. Brought tears to my eyes. The words, the inflections, the insinuations. I really love country. So he got a deal for original music in Nashville. We ran right out there. I left Venice at that time. That was around 99. And we went out there for about a year. They took care of us. They recorded us. And then after that, our time was over. We had to scramble. I came right back to Venice once again. And I was sleeping in the street when I got back there that time. But I was able to right away get some help and also start getting tips again. And once again, Venice saved me from a life of destitution. I love Venice for that reason.
So, sorry, just a little joint. What year was it when you first met him?
That was 89. That was November 29th, 1989.
And then you played until you guys took off to.
I played. When we played on Venice, we were pretty well known. We started out there on Windward and Oceanfront, but the skaters started to take over there. As we remember, we'd hear these loud going by as we played. We had to move down. We moved down to the north end, and we started playing there around Rose, Dudley, and that area. We started playing, but we were pretty well known. As a matter of fact, we got hired to do launch music at the House of Blues and Tahiti. They took us to Tahiti for 2 weeks to play at this swanky hotel and nightclub. They loved us from there. We got a lot of gigs from that. We met a lot of great people. Barbra Streisand has checked us out there on the boardwalk one time, and they said, "Look," and I looked up and I just was amazed. It was the most rewarding experience of my entire life.
And so, are you in Venice now?
No, I'm not. Right now I'm caregiving and I'm quarantining because there's a devastating outbreak. I don't know. Some people have their different takes on it, but right now I was able to caregive for my mom, who's she's doing a lot better, and I go back and forth to Venice to take care of business and then come back and take care of her. So, but I do live on Venice and La Cienega Boulevard. It's quite a ways. I used to live entirely in Venice because the rents were cheap. But after that, forget it. I even lived at the Ellison for a year as one of the best gigs, but it was really high price. So, but I was able to get the Fig Trees, which is situated right in front, because I'd be the first one there. That was one of the best tip spots, the Fig Trees, for playing. So it balanced itself out.
Yeah, I used to set up my artwork right around there too.
Oh, I remember you. You're a wonderful artist. I love the Buffaloes now, and I look forward to share any more of the work you have at Venice Art.
Okay. Yeah. I'm brettwoods.com. I've been I'm over here in Oregon right now.
Right.
So I got my little buffalo hat, so I'll have to get you one sometime.
Nice. But that's the beauty of this, though. You're from Venice. I remember you as a Venice artist. To me, you're a Venice local. I don't care where you go. That's what I saw, and that's what I do. I recognize people that I remember from my past, from '89 to present, and I try to keep in touch through social media. What a beautiful way to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right?
Yes.
Now that we're not allowed to hang out with each other, we can actually communicate more with each other. It's a weird paradox. It's like because everyone's always working when they see each other.
Right.
So now it seems like time has stopped, and now we can do things like this and kind of I don't know. You are so fucking talented and been playing. You got such a voice. Did you always sing, or when did you start singing?
Well, I've always done music. My mom had blessed me with piano lessons. She taught me herself. And then I wanted to play trumpet in elementary school. The music school sent over their representatives with all these nice instruments. And, for a nice amount of money, we could get one. And they gave me the trumpet. I guess I looked like Al Hurt at the time because I was pretty big. But they gave me the trumpet. Everybody wanted the trumpet. And so they gave me one. My mom bought me a trumpet, started sending me to dollar group lessons at the Lears Music in San Bernardino. What a wonderful, wonderful gift. And I fell in love with it. And I've been in music bands since elementary, junior high, high school. I was in the San Bernardino High School band, and I played trumpet. But then that summer, my grandmother gave me a guitar, beautiful little guitar handmade from Mexico. And I took a summer class at San Bernardino High School. That was a guitar class taught by Mr. Leonard Anderson, who was the music teacher at the time. And he just really showed me the way to excel in chords and playing chords and learning them. And from there, I started singing as well. I was blessed with a loud voice. People tell me, you talk too loud, and I'm pretty sure I'm well heard there. It's also good for singing. And I've been able to do light opera as well, and civic light opera, they call it Broadway musicals we did locally. And so I've always loved performing and singing, and it seemed I had a penchant and a gift for it, and I will continue. I'll be back on Venice when all this is over. Once again, going to try to build a little street blues band, which is the most excellent thing you could do at Venice, to have fun, sit there and play till the sunset. Play songs. They don't have to be, grandioso or great. They can have just that feeling, that feeling of love for performing music. We're not trying to be stars. We just love playing.
And so you've seen a lot of things during that 89 to 99 to where we're at now in Venice, not just in your life, but also can you dispel any myths out there that people that are not from Venice have about Venice? And then it's a two-part question. And then where you see it now, and there's the third part, where you see it going.
Oh, well, Venice was not as famous as it was back then. I remember many days where the boardwalk was empty, especially during weekdays. And then, as they speak of gentrification, because prices were so low back then, I remember I could get a nice apartment for $350. If I split it with someone, you can get an apartment pretty close to the beach. Prices went up. People were, priced out. So
what year was that?
What's that?
What year was that?
That was probably 89, 90, 95. I actually moved in with like 5 other musicians from Virginia. They were really a great band. And what they did was, it was a 1-bedroom, but everybody just crashed, at a spot. But we all paid like $90, so that's why it was so easy. We all paid $90 for rent, and everybody loved it. And they would jam all night long. They drink beer and play video games. It was awesome. They were just some great guys. They really, really made it easier to live there.
And where it is now?
Oh, well, as we know, Venice is I believe there's a vortex from the many tribes that lived there for thousands of years. That may sound silly, but there's something special there. When you get there, you know it, you can feel it. It's some kind of electromagnetic force that heals, that gives you a chance to heal out there. If you're an artist, and many artists out there are scuffling, they go out there and they'll be able to make their meal for the day. It's a humble place. Venice was humble, but now we have people who want to own it because there is a lot of money to be made there. And so that's what I see, people who are trying to get it for the beauty of it, but also because of the boardwalk. That's such a mystery to me. What's going to happen from now till then? It's also tied in with the government. It's tied in with what's going on, the pertinent news today. You can see that. I wouldn't want to be there right now because I understand that there's in LA, there's a great pandemic that's resurging. So I'm doing my part to make it safe for later by staying away. But when I do go, I want to be there every day like I did. That's the thing. You can be there every day. It's a wonderful experience. Always something new. And it doesn't take much if you can find a spot to fall asleep. I'm not inviting people to come out there and camp. I'm just saying that was the allure of it. way back when, and people did that. But now when they do it, there's just so many people doing it that have to do it. That's my take.
Is there a cure for the homelessness problem? Do you have any idea?
Well, yeah, vaccines. There's a there's a debate about that. People who are ill and old, I feel for them because it seems like no one's thinking about them. And but we got our back to a hard place, and I don't know how we got there, but we do have to examine our political system and societies and leaders, because we listen to them. As you can see, half the country listens to one man, and the other half listens to somebody else. So that in itself, the extremeness of that is starting to be more apparent as we go along, and it's reflective in Venice. You can see the ones who don't want homeless people in there and who want to slap up something special that looks good for whoever. I don't know, but something has to happen on both sides, I believe.
Yeah, it's I went through there about a month and a half ago or 2 months ago, and it was whoa. I had lunch outside of the the Venice Bistro and stuff like that, just to check it out, and it layered a bunch of different emotions, that I was thinking about while I was there. But the what's it like? Because I want to give the respect due to, and maybe you have more of an idea or inside word because you know so many people that are probably homeless out there or been in their vicinity for so long. What's what is their perspective?
They're desperate. They're there. You remember that spot in front of the waterfront where these tremendous artists and musicians, they're there perpetually just so they can do their little show, so they can get their little donation, so they can eat or whatever, And so that's a good example. There's artists who set up on the boardwalk selling trinkets and artwork, and there's an underground as well up there of people trying to get medicated, so to speak. Alcohol is a big problem out there. Of course, we know. This is the thing that corporate America that profits off of this, things that are causing illnesses. They should be made aware of as well of what they're doing to people.
Yeah, it's I heard there's some violence there that's kind of been popping off here and there, and I don't know. I know a lot of people that are kind of moved out of the area. I actually, it's not trying to just dissect everything too much, but it was like there. It just reminds me of the conversation I had a few podcasts ago, where it's like there's a time, there's like a rhythm and a time sequence, like a 10-year time period where things are in a pattern. And so this might be dipping in that area, and then but it's gonna fluctuate as the pattern always is a pattern and just grows and does what a pattern does. But I guess the COVID doesn't really help that much either.
I agree about that. You can see the patterns, and they go along with the economy, of course, health, fads, music. There's just so many things driving it. Venice encompasses that. Venice, they have the locals who were born and raised there, and I feel for them. And then they have the incoming people from outside, affluent people who are able to afford the exorbitant prices for real estate there, and they feel that since they bought that place, they have a right, to their opinion as to how things are set up out there. And so that's the cacophony of the differences of the people out there. It's economic, it seems, and almost it takes into account, as you said, time. Every 10 years something happens. Maybe prices go up on real estate, or interest rates go down. That's what we're seeing now. So who knows? But I agree.
It's just an idea of like where if we could see where it's been and the template of the rhythm, then we can maybe process it and see where it's going to be, or where it might have, in conjunction to like those different timestamps on that 10-year period of time?
Social media and Facebook, I think, are going to be the things that bring attention to Venice, unify possibly both sides, because opinions are heard. And there are a lot of pages devoted to the people of Venice, the places of Venice, the history, the art. And I try to keep abreast of it. But yes, there's quite a dilemma going on as far as people's perspectives and opinions out there. You're right.
Okay, so let's talk about your music. What are you doing with your music these days?
I'm writing, but most of all, I am just doing songs for my own joy. I used to do music out there for tips. After a while, it didn't matter because it wasn't very profitable, but the music was good. And if someone saw you, you'd probably get a good gig. And sometimes you occasionally get the nice tipper, but I usually do music for myself so that I listen, and it's pretty good. I plan to be back and start like I did in '89, just set up out there on the boardwalk if it's possible, maybe in a year or two. I'm not looking to rush. I'm writing music. I do have some original songs, but at this time I'm doing all the Christmas songs that I used to do with my bands out there.
Are you recording them, or is there a way people can see them?
You know what? If you go to the Venice Street Legends, you'll see. I used to do mostly a country tribute to the old country legends, and that's what I was doing at this time, especially a Johnny Cash tribute. But most of those are covers. On my Venice music page, Facebook, I have an original song that was recorded and put to a video pinned to the top, and so that's one of the originals I put out there. I'm not very prolific, but I feel that it does make a statement.
Yeah, well, before we go, we still got lots of time. So okay. Maybe you can do a Johnny Cash song before we leave or something.
Sure, we'll do a Johnny Cash song.
Yeah, grab it now if you want, and hold it, but we still got like half an hour to fill.
Okay, well, we'll discuss as much as we can about anything there is.
Do you want to play something now?
Here's a song by Johnny Cash that's pertinent for the times.
Okay.
Ready for that? Well, you wonder why I always dress in black. Why you never see bright colors on my back. Why does my appearance seem to have a somber tone? There's a reason for the things that I have on. I wear the black for the poor and the beaten down, living on the hopeless, hungry side of town. I wear it for the prisoner who has long paid for his crime, but he's there as a victim of the times. I wear the black for those who've never read or listened to the words that Jesus said about the road to happiness through love and charity. Why you think he's talking straight to you and me? We're doing mighty fine, I do suppose, in our streak of light in cars and fancy clothes. But just so we're reminded of the ones who are held back, up front there ought to be a man in black. I wear the black for the sick and the lonely old, for the reckless ones whose bad trips left them cold. I wear the black in mourning for the lives that could have been. Each week we lose 10,000 fine young men. Let's get it done. Let's get it fixed. How's that sound? So that's pretty perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I'll try to get you out of buffalo hat sometime soon. I got to make more, but I'll get your address and I'll send you.
Oh, don't worry.
I gotta get you a Christmas present for the holidays.
Oh, you're too kind. This is the present interacting with you right now in a medium that I totally approve of. So I'm honored to be here, Brett. Honored.
Honored to have you.
Thank you. So,
Oh,
I also traveled to Tahiti. Here's the thing. They saw us on the boardwalk. This was back in maybe 95, 96. And a gentleman said, "Would you like to go to Tahiti?" And I was very rude. I said, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, where's the tickets at?" It was the worst part of my time there because at the time, ego struck me. We were being lauded there as, street blues. And so this was my downfall for a few years. My ego took over and I was very hard to live with. But lo and behold, we're on a plane to Tahiti, and that actually sent me back on the straight and narrow. And it was just a tremendous experience. They had the greatest jazz musicians back us up, the greatest ones in Tahiti, and they were all top-notch musicians. So the experiences from Venice, there are just, they reinforce the reason why it shouldn't change so much. Do you remember when they were going to try to give assigned spaces and you had to do a lottery? Do you remember
yeah,
that?
I remember that.
That just amazed me. I thought that was a downfall, as well.
Yeah, people are paying other people to go grab for their tickets.
Right.
They're paying the homeless people to, hey, stand here for like 6 hours and because they can't set up before 9.
Right.
So
That's
but
another
all
one.
these guys on this one side of the thing, and they're all looking at the other side of the thing because the cops are all like driving through. And,
Absolutely.
and then it's like, and the buzzer goes off at 9 a.m. And like, cause, and everyone grabs their spots. But yeah, that was like, I think they did that for like, gosh, oh God, that's it all seems like there's maybe, what was that, like 2004, 5?
Right. Right. Oh yeah. No, I used to know people.
When did they start that lottery thing?
That was around that time. Yeah, I would say it was around that time. It was after 2000, so sometime after that. But I remember I just stopped playing there for a while because I was getting harassed. I would not sign up for the lottery. There's a law that says, and it's been in since the Depression, that musicians can busk anywhere in the United States, play for tips. And so that's what I used as my reasoning not to join that. I said, this is unconstitutional, that law to do that, but
Everyone's very territorial in general, but like you get somebody that, it was, come on, there's Jingles. I mean, we should just, Peter Damian.
Yep.
Who are the other class? Oh, come on.
There's a guy who does it.
Abraham.
I remember before he got there, I was there. It was Greg and Abraham's wife before that. They used to live there. And then Abraham came in and, I can't remember her name, but she was very pertinent there with her art. She started doing the art there too. I'll think about it later on. But yes, he got very famous. As a matter of fact, he started a lawsuit, I believe, from the same thing. He used to take over that spot.
You talking about Abraham?
Yeah, he sued the city because of that lottery thing. And I believe he won a settlement. But there was a class action suit, or it was a bunch of other artists who were there who signed up as well, that gave it its strength. And so he finally won the suit. And I believe he lives now in Rhode Island somewhere, or he's moved to the east side of the United States.
I just got my microphone. I spilled my beer. I was laughing so hard.
Right. That's abuse now. That's abuse.
No, it was fine until he made me laugh. And then so continue. I'm still listening.
Oh, and then so also, in front of the waterfront, there's a bunch of musicians there. Some were pretty famous. One of them was named Dave, who passed away, rest in peace, about a year ago. But he used to play for some famous R&B groups. And there's the big keyboard player, guitar player that's there as well. I can't remember his name though, but they used to call themselves Flight Risk, and they sleep there, but their music is really good, and I feel for them. Let me see who else that I remember there. Oh, John, the one that sells glasses next to the beach house. John, right across from the pagoda. He's been there for many, many years. He sets up, and he's seen our kind of progress there. Let me think. Of course, there's Patrick Liberty. He's out there on Venice Liberty. He's got a shop there now, but he had a band as well. In '74, I believe he got there. And so you can still see these guys that go to his shop who used to be on the boardwalk as well. What was his name? David Brightman, Slavin David was another one. Uncle Bill. Oh, and then how about Sonny Zorro was one of the first actual guys who slept in the street. He used to push this big wagon with all his belongings. He was one of the first homeless guys I saw there. Sonny Zorro.
He didn't look like the guy that was a wizard, did he?
Yes, he did look like that. He was a black guy with dreads, big beard. He was a big guy, big tall guy, and he would play blues and jazz. And he said that him and Jimi Hendrix were friends back in the day when he was younger. But yeah, he one of the first guys I met out there. He knew everybody out there. I think there was an album called "The Spirit of Venice" made by Harland, a guy named Harland Sanders or something like that. Harland, I can't remember, but he made an album with Sonny Zorro, me, and my partner James Mitchell, David Brightman, Peter Damien, and a bunch of other ones. He put it on the album, and it didn't sell. It didn't do too well back in those days, but they do have an example of the musicians of 1995 there, 1994, 95, who were on the boardwalk. Uncle Bill was huge. The guy with the gloved hand and played with a big boot. I forget his name.
Did you ever know this guy named Broken Glass? He's a stand-up comic.
Yeah, yeah. Uba Perry, the Broken Glass. He would do a limbo, right? He would carry a thing and do a limbo, then come and jump in Broken Glass. Is that the guy?
No, but there's a comedian. But I remember that guy. He was out on 20. He was on 24th and 17th, right there. Yeah. I was talking about this stand-up comic. This guy was funny as shit, man. This guy he'd get like a box and stand on it and say he's Broken Glass, and he would do like a tight 20-minute, 30-minute set. Sometimes just screwing with people, but he was so funny. But anyways, I digress.
Do you get his name? No. Did you get his name? Because you can actually.
I just knew him as Broken Glass.
No, Broken Glass comedian on Venice. Yeah. I can probably do a search and maybe find some video, especially if he's been out there on Venice.
I haven't seen him in like 15 years, man. I haven't seen that guy in a million years, but I just remember shit. That guy's fucking funny.
Right. Well, you never know. But I remember Jingles as well. Everyone used to come up to us because we were there every day. From 89 to 92, we were there almost every day. So we got to see everybody walking by, all the locals, everybody setting up. We'd be at the spot, the bench on Dudley, when it was a store around there, when it was the Candle Cafe. What was it before that?
Do you ever have any? Do you have any Sponto stories? Did you ever know around?
Oh, Spontos, he did. He would ignore me. You kind of look like him a little bit right now, as a matter of fact. But Sponto, he would come out and he would look at us because he could hear our music going into. Maybe he didn't like our music. I don't know, but he would never say a word. And he would. And James knew who he was, and he says, "Oh, yeah, that's Sponto." And then that was it. He would go walk by each time with his coffee and look at us. But he never said a word, and I never said a word to him. But I would see him quite a bit in those days.
Yeah. So funny times, man. Funny times. And so have you been listening to any music? Have you heard any current music that's playing in the
Sunny War
world? That's
Sunny War have you heard of Sunny War?
Sunny War?
Sunny War? Yeah.
Sunny Wart.
If you get a chance, search her. She was out there one day when I was there at 2012. and she asked us to sit in with us. I had the band at that time, drummer, bass player, and snare. And so we let her sit in for a whole set, and she played, and we let her sing, and we backed her up. And we made a few bucks, but I knew I couldn't split more than 3 ways, because we weren't really making enough in those days. But I knew she could make money, so I told her, listen, go to the fig trees, get yourself a little amp, and set up there and play. You will definitely make money. And she started sitting there regularly. Someone played a video of her playing there, and it got over 1 million hits on YouTube.
Are you talking about the girl, the black girl with the piercings?
Yes.
Yeah. She's like a prodigy or something.
Yes, she is. Well, she was she started playing young from New Orleans, and she came out here and quickly started to get some attention. And now she's getting a lot of airplay. She's getting gigs, and she's played with Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson's sons, they live out here in Venice somewhere.
Lucas. I owe Lucas a beer. I'm guilty.
Right.
He paid for my beer one night. I was bartending, and we went down below, and he said, "You got me?" He said, "Oh yeah, I got you." And then I ended up having like 5 beers, and he was a little mad at me about that.
Right. So
I thought it was off him. I wasn't trying to take advantage, but it was like we were having a party. It was like 15 of us. We just got having the best time. And anyways, I love the guy, Lucas. I love you so much, even though I don't.
Yeah. And Micah, of course, was getting a lot of attention. Though, those guys I saw years ago at the Arts Center over there in Santa Monica, the big one. I forget its name, but they were playing there with Peter Damian's son, Haley. He was playing bass, and I was watching them, and I said, "Oh, they sound pretty good." And I saw him, and I didn't think twice about it. I went to go do my little show in there, and as time went on, I saw it was called Robots versus Aliens versus Robots, and that was his band. I even got a videotape from the Arts Center, and I posted it, and that's when I found out, oh, that's Willie Nelson's son, and he got a band with Haley. That's not together anymore. They were called Insects versus Robots. You can search that, but that's amazing that they live out there in Venice. So I share any of their stuff on Venice Locals.
Yeah, Lucas played as a bartender and sort of micromanaging this thing, so Stronghold for a second.
Oh yeah,
and with oh god, I'm gonna Michael Caselli or something like that, and we had it. It was like a speakeasy, and it was there was no way. I was like looking around. They had like Harper there, and like it was really for about, I'd say, until he stopped sort of. I kind of got kicked out of managing. I went to the front door one time to go there, and they didn't know who I was. So I was like, oh, and I was like, really? And that's when the burlesque started happening. And as soon as I see, but there's a moment there. That's how I met Lucas, and super, super sweet guy, super amazing. But that voice is fucking crazy, and it's effortless. That's the thing about it. That's a weird, not to pine about Lucas, but when I requested him to sing On the Road Again and stuff like that, and I know he probably did. Last thing he wants to sing is On the Road Again, but he sang it. It was fucking good. It was so good. Anyways, I used to feed him beers. We were drinking Tecates. The place was packed, had sofas everywhere, leather. But I realized, I was like, there's no way this can be contained.
Right.
There's no way that this is sustainable. It's not going to happen. But for the 2 month there. That market, bartending for those guys.
Yes.
People bringing in fucking tequila and shit, like popping it, opening it up. It was like free. It was like something you really, really don't see. And the acoustics in the room were fucking. Then they started doing burlesque, and I was like, well, it's over.
Right.
Getting camera crews in there for it, and it was like, but there was a point in time that was.
God, it was organic. That's a good point. It was organic. It was nothing forced, and that's a lot of the things that are outstanding in Venice. When you see it happen, it just happens. Like your comedian with the glass, so organic. There's no big splashy type of thing that that you get nowadays. You know, it's videos and fireworks about Venice. And yes, I know that little thing is like, what's another one that's like that? Well, the Venice Bistro was never very popular, but it was like so smooth just to be there in the early days of it. They did have some pretty good bands, and it was starting to pick up, but the economics just doesn't work out there with a nightclub. It doesn't seem like, or even a bar right there on the boardwalk. That was one of the last ones I remember, the true bars.
I saw
On the
Tony from Peace Frog, the Jim Morrison cover band.
Yeah, so that's huge. He's huge.
And they're playing with Robbie Krieger.
Yes.
At that one night, and there's probably about 30, 40 people there.
Yes.
But that's a lot for that place. That place doesn't hold a lot. Or maybe I'm exaggerating because it felt like I was, you're right. I stood up right on the staircase right next to the whole thing, just watching it.
You're absolutely right. You're right. It's small.
Nobody had any social media then. No, there was no cameras, no cell phones, no nothing. Or the very beginning stages of that.
Yes.
But it was like, those are one of the special times.
Oh yeah, that's very, very true. I remember Tony when he was doing his shows out there, and just it was magic. People loved it. There's people that would come there just for that, and they would just barely fill it all up. They'd have the front filled up, the inside, and of course the upstairs, which was the prime. So I would say about 40 to 60 people were able to get in there comfortably, and he'd do a show, which he had an outstanding show. The musicians were great. They were, and the songs, how sophisticated to present a show like that there in Venice, where it all started as well. So yeah, it was sublime at the time.
Wow. Yeah. Where's your favorite places to eat in Venice?
Oh, you know what? I still like the Sidewalk Cafe, but there was a little place over there in the corridor where Yummy's was at. Yummy's had this teriyaki chicken, but I used to go to a place, Pierre, a guy from France, who had this little counter. All he had was a counter with one of those little stoves and a microwave, but he would make a chicken dinner with a baked potato for $6, and I would go there for dinner 3 or 4 times a week because it was so cheap, and I'd have lunch the next days. But my other favorite was not on the boardwalk. It was at Tommy's cheeseburger on Lincoln and Rose. They had a breakfast special for $2.99, 4 sausages, 2 eggs, fried potatoes, and toast. For $3, you get that, and then for $1, you get the coffee. You buy a coffee, and then so that's what I would go every day before I'd go play. I'd go there for breakfast, and then to Pierre's for dinner. That was the way it was for years and years and years.
Did you ever go to Be Nice?
No. Where is that located at?
It was originally located on Westminster.
Uh-huh.
And a long time ago, 1995, 94,
right.
94. It was located right across from the dog park.
I know exactly where that wasn't. That used to be also Hot.
Yeah, Hot.
House of
That's
Teriyaki.
Hot too. That's actually what I was talking about. Hot.
Oh yeah,
Hot.
House of Teriyaki. I went to when it was first there, right?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, and I loved it. It was like, wow, that was another place I did try to go to a lot because it was cheap. It was good. I remember it was an Asian lady there who really ruled with an iron fist. You could tell she was the owner and the boss. And then she moved it to the other spot there, just off of Windward and Pacific.
Yeah, they called that Hot too.
Yes, Hot too. I remember House of Teriyaki. Characters. That's another thing about Venice. The local characters who were there. A lot of the high school kids from Venice, from Venice High were there all the time. The skaters, they were a huge influence on there because they were there all the time, every day, skating.
Well, it's so funny because it's so the original Hot. I worked that for a little bit.
Yes.
And Packard would come in there. That's a great watercolor artist. He is amazing. Yeah. And he did. I should have got it when I had the chance, but I had to get all my artwork in there. And he did a watercolor of the inside of there with all my artwork in it.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
I would love to see it too. I should have got it when I had the chance. I didn't really even think I saw it and I was like, wow, this is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
And I never, yeah, no, what happened to that? But
Yeah.
it really would have been fun to have. But the other thing about that little area, now that we're fully down memory lane,
Yes.
is it was open.
Yes.
And they had just square white tables, and everybody's up against each other. And you know, what was the girl's name? Jeanette. I'm gonna be the tall one that worked there. I forget. I know she knows. Anyways, I know her, but I'm bad with names sometimes. But she the food was coming and going. It was like a 1950s diner, but on
they had the big counter. I remember. I went all the way across.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It was a painting in itself, and it's gone now. It's all gone. And I always try to find old pictures of it somewhere, you know, and online, and I never can. But yeah, what a great place that was.
So, what else you want to talk about?
You know, the animation was a street performer there. I know mostly street performers because that's what I used to walk up and down there.
Animation.
Yes, and you know, he passed tragically in Las Vegas. He got hit.
What?
He got hit. This was a few years ago. He was riding his bike in Las Vegas, and somebody hit him, and it killed him. You know, there was also Tony the fireman who used to balance a chair, who used to balance a chair and mess with fire, eat fire. He's still doing. He goes to the airport and does videotapes and presents them of famous people who are coming in. So he interviews people there. These are all the old. Tony the fireman. Tony.
No, but he's a paparazzi.
He's a paparazzi now. Absolutely right. He is, and he used to be a star there. Now remember Robert, the chainsaw juggler? He was another one that was prominent when I was there as well.
How did he die?
Yeah, he didn't die.
How did
but
he die?
was. I don't know. I wondered. Yeah. Yeah, but he was on the Tonight Show. He got interviewed, and he let it know what he makes a year. They asked him, how well do you do there? He said, I make $100,000 a year. The tax people got him. So he that's one of the things that stopped him from being there. Swami X, I don't know if you remember him. He was there. Swami X, yes, the tall type of guy who used to lecture. I remember seeing there. And then Michael Collier, the comedian. Now, you know what? I used to think these guys, they lived on the beach, they did their show, or that's all they did. But actually, Michael Collier was a traveling comedian. He used to come there and do his show as well. But to me, I thought that's where he started. He's huge now. He's done a lot of films, and I've seen his comedy show on HBO as well. So he's come a long way from there. And I remember just like yesterday, him doing his show out there and me busting a gut along with the other 30 people that used to gather there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how can people see your now, because I want to use up the rest. We got like 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I want you, how do you want to use it up? Do you want to tell people about how they can hear your music, or your Instagrams or your websites? Yeah. And then do you want to play another song, or is that asking too much?
Okay, I'll do another song. And I'll tell you, you can find me over at Facebook on Venice Now, Venice Art, Venice Music. These are all Facebook pages that I made so that I can just go ahead and put anything about Venice art on there. But usually Venice is the world. Someone tried to tell me that it's just locals, and I was going to get into that. But Venice is the universe.
If you want to get into that, you got all the, just let you know time-wise. But you can say what you want. You can.
All right, so this goes out to Venice. I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll feel so blue thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree won't be a thing if you're not there with me. I miss you, Venice, very much, but I'll be back so I can play more blues, more country, more tributes to the place that heals spirits and souls. And we know that that's what happens in Venice. And I'm honored to be on your show, Brett. Thank you for your kindness, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I mean, I could talk to you for 5 hours. Easy. Gosh, I want to use up. We've got 2 more minutes. Can we use what else is there that people should know, not just about Venice, but you?
You know what? I am a very private guy. You know, I don't do music to get attention. You know, I do it because it's a cathartic. I get to connect with a spirit in there. You have to play music, you have to sing, and then you have to think about it. So you're engaging different senses, hearing, thinking, feeling, memory. So it puts me in a space of almost meditation. And I have so many thoughts going in my head. I have almost like a memory that kind of just goes back a long, long way. And so this kind of like just eases all my thought process. And next thing I know, I'm relaxed and can just go at an even keel. So that's the thing about me, is that I'm not very outgoing or social, but if you see me and say hello, I will say hello.
Yeah, well, I hope to say hello to you soon. Do you have like anything like an MP3 or anything that you can send me that we play in the intro and outro of this video?
I'll send you. Yeah, I do. Does it have to be sort of like if I took a video on my phone and send it to you, would that be okay?
Yeah, I think so. I just need an MP3 of it.
Okay, so I can do that. I'll send it to you on the email.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. If you do that, we'll wrap it up right now. I'll edit this together, and you're my guest. You know what? You're my 20th guest.
We need you. I'll share it on my pages. Let me know, and I'll share it to all my Facebook pages.
Yeah, you'll know all about it. I got you. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Great to see you, man. You look great. Stay strong. Your mother's in my thoughts. Happy New Year. Stay safe out there, okay?
All right. All right. V's up. Yep. Blessings all. All righty.
All right. Ciao. I'll see you later. I'll see you in the future.
Absolutely will.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
That's it. We wrap it up.
Okay.
I can cut it any time, but you know.
Okay.
So that was the show.
All right. So you know what? I'm actually going to go check on Mom's, and so I'm going to say later, and let's stay in touch. Okay.
Yeah. Send me that MP3 if you can as soon as possible, and I'll put that together. I'll try to have this out tonight.
Okay. I'll definitely do that right now.
But okay, right. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right. Cheers. See you soon there, Brett. God bless.
You too. All right. Okay. That was Gregory Cruz, guys. I'm selling hats still. PenceFlyHat.com. PenceFlyHat.com. Be patriotic. You can wear it sideways, whatever. PenceFlyHat.com. That was Gregory Cruz. That was another really good interview.
With no way to hold my head.
That was my 20th show.
And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad. Had another for dessert. I fumbled through my closet for my clothes and found my cleanest dirty shirt. Then I washed my face and combed my hair. I stumbled down the stairs to greet the day. Well, I smoked my brain the night before with cigarettes and songs we were picking. I lit my first and stopped to watch a young kid cussing at a can he was kicking. I crossed an empty street and caught the Sunday smell of someone frying chicken. and it took me to a place I lost somewhere, somehow, along the way. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. There's something in a Sunday makes a body feel alone. And there's nothing sure but dying, half as lonely as it sounds, like a sleeping city sidewalk, Sunday morning coming down. In a park I saw a daddy with a laughing little girl he was swinging. I stopped beside a Sunday school to listen to the songs they were singing. I headed back for home, somewhere far away, a lonely bell was ringing. And it echoed through the canyons like the disappearing dreams of yesterday. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing, Lord, that I was home, because there's something in a Sunday makes a body feel alone. And there's nothing sure but dying, half as lonely as it sounds, like a sleeping city sidewalk, and Sunday morning coming down.